Sorry about this. Don't know why this thing happened. So we have to go back to our conversation with Marius and Ronnie. Hope they're back again. Continuing our conversation with Ronnie. We're going to have both guys back.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't know
What's up, man?
Don't know what has happened. It suddenly paused doing live. Don't know.
Yeah, you were freeze for quite some time. You were kind of free. Your camera was
Yeah,
freeze.
it's freezing cold in Athens.
Welcome to Sweden, you'll see.
So returning to the question. Sorry about this.
No problems, man. No worries. Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties. As always, as the journalists always say on TV, these things happen when you go live. Okay, so these things happen when you go live.
Yeah.
And Marius, I've counted 26 musicians that have been part of the Nightrage family, either as permanent members or as session members, touring members. That's 26, apart from the current lineup, with adding 5 guys is 31. So it's a whole classroom.
It's like a hotel almost, isn't it?
Always having revolving doors, because some members have passed by and have returned in a few albums. Seeing it now, being more mature, more experienced, knowing Nightrage better, what is it better to have some really well-known musicians as session members, or have a solid lineup?
I prefer the second, 100%. I think for us, when, like I said, when we started, it was like a blessing and a curse. So the only way for me to start up this band and make this album that was my focus back then. Like the goal was to record that first album, Sweet Vengeance. So then when I got this opportunity from Century Media, I had to say yes. So, but I knew that it would be a difficult task. So, like I said, I was alone on the first 2 albums almost. So then I found on the 3rd album, I found some other guys that we tried to make a solid lineup, but they wanted to do something else, like playing pop metal, shit like that. So I wanted to play metal. So people have different opinions sometimes. So the only thing, like I said, the only positive thing for me is like I managed to keep the band alive until I found Ronnie and Magnus and these cool guys to have a nice lineup together. So it was a matter of time, I guess, for me.
Mm-hmm.
And also the fact that I didn't want to, I wanted to keep moving on with the band. I didn't want to end up the band, because that was my dream. That was my goal to have this band alive and have this lineup, find this lineup eventually, like we did right now, like we have now.
Mm-hmm. And I've told you that I find this album to be perhaps the best Nightrage album ever, which finds me totally in agreement with your thoughts about the lineup. It seems that the band is solid. It seems that the band is knowing what they're playing. And I have to say, don't know if Ronnie agrees with that the album is more melodic than ever. Even though it
Yeah, I could agree.
doesn't lack in aggression, but it's more melodic than ever.
Yeah, it's like it's packed with melodies that it's from start to stop. The song is melodies, but it's not only melodic with that. There's melodies all over the place in every corner of the songs. But with that, I'm the contradiction to that. I'm trying to be the heavy part, and there's some heavy riffs, and some heavy drumming, and some heavy bass on top of those melodies. So we're trying to weave an intricate web with all these heavy core to that. So I think we managed this time to actually find a good balance between everything.
Yeah, it definitely has a balance. It has aggression, it has melodies, it has everything. And Marius, it has two instrumentals and an interlude. Do you want to show your guitarist side? What do you want to do with these instrumentals that you have in the album?
It happens sometimes. We have different ideas. Probably we overdo it. Now I'm thinking about the album. I listen it as a whole these days on Spotify and stuff like that. Maybe we overdid it a little bit, like with these interludes and intros and outros. But I promise next time it's gonna be a more solid album, 100% killer, zero fillers, for sure. But sometimes we have different ideas as guitarists and stuff like that. So we always try to put everything in the album. But you need to think about the album, sound and how people perceive, how people, what people want, and in the end of the day, you need to put your ego aside and let the good songs only survive it on the album. What do you think, Ron?
Yeah, but
I think this time I didn't put any breaks in you guys, and that's why we got so much melodic instrumental stuff on it. Usually I break the guys a little bit, but this time I let them be, and this is the result. I also think we could maybe have kept us to one instrumental part, but it's cool.
Or maybe.
But I love the album anyways.
Yeah,
I love the
it's
album
a fucking
anyways
amazing
as a
album.
whole. I mean, I don't mind. I mean, of course, maybe we overdid a little bit, but it's a lesson to learn for the next one.
Yeah, and the songs are as good. They're super good anyway. So I think the album is solid still with those parts. So I think we're good. We're good anyways.
Yeah. And here a friend says you should go to Thailand and play. First of all, I think we have to see when there's going to be a chance for the band to play, for any band to play, and then select some places that you will go and play. Is that so?
Really
Yeah,
looking forward
definitely.
to come out to
We would
play.
love to. We would love to play there.
Is there any special reason for the interlude Portal of Destiny? What does it lead us?
It's a good question. That was actually Franco, our bass player, idea. He wanted to, because the album has to do, to deal with the hell and Dante's Inferno and all that stuff. So he wanted to portray in a way how is hell, so that he has this idea to put that interlude, and also works as a break in the intensity of the album, so you don't have to listen all the time the songs going 100 miles per hour. So it was kind of a breaker, I guess.
Uh-huh. I have received a question from Steve saying that from all the tours that you have done, which stand out the most?
Should I answer this question?
Yeah, and Ronnie can tell us from his own experience with Nightrage.
Of course.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay. It's two tours that I'm battling with actually, but I would because the Japan tour was really crazy, and that was the first tour I did in the band back in 2013. But I would say our Russian tour, when we were actually touring the Trans-Siberian Railroad for how long was it? Like a month or 4 weeks? We're touring
almost a month,
straight into
unforgettable tour. Actually, unforgettable.
Yeah. That was hard, but also cool. Like in the February, in the midst of winter in Siberia, carrying our shit onto this train on and off every day, doing small and big shows in the deepest parts of Russia. That was kind of really cool. So that's one of my maybe not the best gigs always, but the people were super nice and they were super appreciative. So
I agree.
my phone was fucking wrong.
Oh,
Yeah,
bad.
but the Russian.
Yeah.
Everything is falling apart.
Total
for me now.
distraction.
I got so excited about the Russian tour. No, but the thing is, I would say the Russian tour. Yeah, for definitely the Russian tour. So.
And you, Marius?
For me, let me see. It can be the ball thrower tour. Actually, we did back in the day. We did
Yeah,
some
the second
European
album.
tour with ball thrower and necrophagist. That was and Malevolent Creation. That was a really good tour for us. As far as I remember, Ball Throw is a classic, legendary band, and wherever they play, it's like packed shows. I remember the show in Hamburg was packed; it was full, and amazing band. Ball Thrower, like for me, I like holy guys.
Yeah,
They were
and
carrying their own their roadies. They were carrying their own,
that's the
clown
thing.
and stuff like that.
A few
Never
days
saw
ago,
that before in my life with a band.
I was speaking with Sakis from Rotting Christ, and he told me exactly the same thing about Ball Thrower, that it was a lesson to be well learned. If you tour with Ball Thrower, you should look exactly what they were doing and make sure that you do exactly the same.
Totally agree.
It's like
They're holy guys, amazing guys. Like they said, no, we will take care of that. You go and sleep. You will take care of everything. Never saw something like that in my life. I mean, they are the headline band. They should go and sleep, and we have to work. But it was the opposite on that tour.
Okay. Once again, you worked with Fredrik Nordstrom for this album, for the mix and mastering. What made
Yeah,
you
Fredrik is
return to Fredrik once again?
Fredrik is a friend of ours. I mean, I used to work with Fredrik even back in the day with my old band Exhumation. So it was a no-brainer for us to go back and, we wanted this particular, more heavy sound that he's doing, especially with guitars and drums and everything in between. But so it was a good experience to go back and work with Fredrik again, because we know him very well and he knows the band. And we are very pleased with the outcome. I mean, he did a really great drum recording and also mix and master. So we're very happy. And I think all the band members can agree on that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A question about Ronnie. Ronnie, how difficult was it for you to get in the shoes of well-known frontmen like Thomas Lindberg?
Well, that's impossible. I would never be able to wear his shoes, but the only thing I had to do, because of course it was terrifying from the start to get into that position, but of course it was easier because there has been other vocalists in between. It would be even more terrifying to go straight in behind him. But for me, it was the thing was I'm not trying to be Thomas, but because I could never be that. That would be impossible. So for me to even be able to do this at all was to be like, okay, I see it less like a blank paper instead. I can never do his thing. I have to go in and do my thing, and hope that someone will like that, and that I mostly hope that Morris would like that, and we would have fun, and we did. We had a lot of fun because I knew I could never like step in his shoes. I have to put my own shoes in this place and try to stomp my way in, and that's the only way to do it, because like I said, his shoes are very big and I'm a small guy, so
Having worked with various labels, can you tell me the pros and the cons, the advantages and disadvantages of working with a smaller label like Despots Records that you have been working for the past few years in your last few albums? What are the advantages and disadvantages of working with such a label?
I think working with bigger labels like we used to with Century Media is a cool thing for sure, because you have more exposure and more people probably can listen to your music. But at the same time, it's a disadvantage because if you're not this kind of a big band, you can be not the band number 15. That exactly was the case with Nightrage. Of course, they did everything for us, and we were happy to be in a label like that. But I realized on smaller labels like Despots Records, for an example, we have better communication, and they love the music we are doing, and they are trying the best they can. And probably that kind of label suited more for a band like us in the spot we are right now. And I think it's the best. We are very happy to work with Despots Records, and they are listening to us, and we have a very good communication, and everything works really fine so far.
Yeah, it makes us have better control over the product, the end product, because we can communicate with them in another way. We can meet them. We can meet the label boss face to face and kick his ass if we don't like the result. But like, no, but not that. But we're more like friends, personal friends with them after these years with this label. And like I said, we have control over the end product more. They don't butt in so much. They don't tell us what to do. So that's a good thing, I think.
Mm-hmm. And it's always better to be a priority,
yeah,
than being
band number 15.
Yeah. So that's what a friend over here says. I would think that Despots Record works better for what you guys want to do right now, and that's my opinion too. From Lefteris, I think it's so. There have been several changes in the music business in the past few years. Whatever we have known as being the right thing in the next couple of years always changes, and it's not the best thing that can happen to you. So with this thing evolving in the music business nowadays, what do you do in order to keep up with the changes? And how do you see the changes that happen to music business with everything going digital and all the same?
Ronnie?
Marius, go for it. The thing is, we try to keep up. It's hard, of course, especially when we're a couple of old guys used to how it was in the 90s, records and labels the old way. And now it's like this social media thing taking over, and that's the way there's where you have to be. So it's actually a good thing we have Dino, our new drummer. He's the young kid in the band, and he's more hands-on with the social media stuff, and he's doing great work for us. And him and Marius are actually doing all our social media now, and the presence there. So we're doing whatever we can to be there, trying to catch up, I guess. And that's also one of the reasons maybe that we are a little bit behind. But now we're trying to be more on top of it. But the thing is, like me and Marius, we're two old farts, and Magnus too, and we used to do it the old way. So it's good to have younger, energetic guys in the band and understanding this computer stuff. Marius,
for sure.
What do you say, Marius?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question, actually, because I think you need, as a band and as an individual and as a musician, you need to adapt to every new thing that comes towards you. I mean, of course, it was something else back in the day. People were listening to albums, and it was like a ritual when they opening the LP and reading the lyrics and all that stuff. But now, who is going to do that? I don't think anybody does that. Like, everybody has smartphones and listening to the Spotify, and as a band, you need to understand that. And for me, it doesn't matter from which kind of tool people listening to the music, as long as they listen to the music. That's what counts for me. As doesn't matter if it's a play on Spotify or it's whatever, YouTube. As long as they listening to the music, that's what counts for me. And as a band, also, like Ronnie said before, we're trying to adapt to this new ways of doing things. So we are always active on social media, and me and Dino, we're doing a lot of work there. So it's a cool thing to try to promote your band in the best way through Facebook and all these channels.
Yeah, and I think that uh, social media is a very powerful weapon that if it existed back in the days, as you say, in the 80s and 90s, that would have boosted the reputation of the bands way more. Imagine what would
Definitely.
happen if everybody had from scratch, from the release date, they could listen to the whole album. The new Nightrage album, okay, it's out, and you can go on Spotify and listen to it from whole and legally. I mean,
That's crazy.
I
You
think
couldn't do that back in the day. Of course, you couldn't do it like that.
you could only buy the record and guess if it's a good record or a bad record for your taste. And can you remember a record that you bought when you were younger and you were very disappointed by this album?
I think it was probably was Practice What You Preach from Testament. I remember I had great expectations for the band after the New Order because I'm a big fan. So it wasn't what I wanted. Of course, it was a kind of also the same with Souls of Black album from the same band. Like it was a kind of a turn for them. But you know, it's you if you are a fan of the band, you like even the albums. Yeah, you're not, you know, it's not your favorites.
Mm-hmm.
With time, you listen more and you realize it's a good album in the end. Like it is the fact here.
Yeah, I can't remember how many albums that I didn't like when I was younger. I really enjoy listening to after 20 or 30 years. I think that
But I,
we
but
have grown more mellow, and we don't say, "Oh, that's shit," but you always look back to the past with another perspective. Now that you're over 25, let's say,
definitely.
years old.
One album also I didn't really like was Saint Anger from Metallica that I bought and I sell the next day. No, I sold it the next day when I bought it because I was so disappointed with the sound and
Yeah.
everything. Too
And
bad.
so a friend of ours, Fanny, says after exhumation, you went to Sweden and you created Nightrage. Thing is, I cannot understand the question, but that was another question from you. If Fanny can send the question once again to make it more clear to me, I would ask you what do you remember more fondly from your Sweden days? That
Well, well, it was an adventure for me, to be honest. I mean, when I took the decision to move permanently in Sweden back in the day 2000, we already had a demo done, and I wanted to get a better future for the band. That was the only reason, and also I couldn't find well-minded guys to play with back in the day. So for me, it was a no-brainer because I used to know Frederick from the Exhumation days because he recorded 2 Exhumation albums. We did 2 albums with him in Sweden, and the first Exhumation we did with Dan Swan in Sweden again. So I had always a connection with that country for a reason because of the fact that we were recording the albums or the sound, and I liked the sound and everything. So I took the decision, and it was a very risky decision for me because I didn't have any money, I didn't have any luck, I didn't have any place to stay, I didn't have any work. The only thing I had was my guitar and the songs in my mind and the crocodile tenacity to record that first album, Sweet Vengeance. That was my only goal. So I wanted to make it happen. So it took a while, and I didn't expect any of it to be happen, to be honest. But eventually, you know, if you are very focused and if you really want something, you can achieve it no matter what. I always believe that there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. So that's what happened with Nightrage, and then I went to Sweden, and it was a hard lesson for me. It was a hard adventure, still an adventure, you know. And I'm very glad that we're still here today, and we're talking about our new album, Abyss Rising.
So the question was, how is it from 2000 till today that you keep your identity so steady, so solid? It's as if you had predicted musically what you wanted to do, and you keep your identity for so many years, for almost 20 years. Is that so? Did you have a concrete plan in your mind that you want to play this specific kind of music?
That is very true, actually. What you said is very true, because I kind of knew beforehand what exactly I wanted from the music. I knew I wanted riffs like that, melodies like that, vocals like that. I had this picture in my mind. And that's what we're trying with Nightrage. Always in every album, we're trying to, you know, find new ways to make this sound even more interesting. But of course, we don't want to forget where we're coming from and where our metal roots. Because in the end of the day, what we're fans of the music. We're metal fans, and we just happen to play music and be in a band. So we always trying to play songs that we'd like to hear as fans first and foremost.
Mm-hmm. And this guy, Fanis, says that he has to confess that all this thing between Sweden and Greek is something that you delivered for Greece. I mean, this connection, this Sweden and Greece connection was mostly brought by you, because you were the first that has been to Sweden and has worked with Swedish guys, and one of the first, and Exhumation has been one of the first bands to have signed with a foreign label, even though if it was French, Holy Records. And
yeah, I mean,
and I think Marius, that our very first interview was during the Exhumation days, something like 1998 or something. I think for Metal Invader and our radio show back then. We did a radio show back then. It's 24 something years, and
yeah, it's been quite some time.
We are 25, so I can't imagine how we were talking.
You know, but like you said about this connection, I always had that connection with Swedish sound, and I don't know why, because I had this style of playing. Actually, now I remember about it. Even before In Flames and before Everybody Comes Out, I always have this kind of playing in my guitar playing. I don't know why, because I loved Iron Maiden probably, and I always wanted to have these heavy vocals and melodic guitars, always, as far as I remember myself. I always have that thought, and actually Exhumation and Nightrage was the outlet for me to be able to, you know, take it out from me and do it for real, you know. It's true.
Our friend named Tom asks, would you add female vocals on your music?
That's a good question for Ronnie to answer.
Maybe if I grew some tits then. If we ever found out, if we even found that we needed it, maybe we should, maybe we would, but right now I don't see where we should put some female vocals into it, but maybe in the future, I don't know where it will take us, but I will never be a female though, so my vocals will be what they are, but like, if we will add a female to it, maybe Marius gets some crazy ideas in the future, we don't know. But I can see now how that would, of course it would benefit us, because if you have a female singing in the band, then you automatically go straight up there right away.
That's a true story.
So maybe I should take a step back for the next album. Who knows? Maybe we do
No, you shouldn't, man. You shouldn't.
Maybe we do the
I love your vocals.
thing, and I be the
Perhaps you could have a girl doing growling vocals.
Yeah, and me singing like a girl instead.
Okay, why not? Why not?
Yeah, we'll see.
We're open to ideas anyways, like Ronnie said, but I really like what Ronnie did on the new album, because this time, except his growls and all the amazing growl that he has, I really love his voice. On the choruses of the songs, and many songs, he had some layers of clean vocals beneath the screams, and that I think gave a lot of push and make the songs even more catchy especially on the choruses. And I really like what he did there. So that was a new thing for us, I think. What do you think, Ron?
Yeah, but I think it's because when you have like 40 minutes of pure metal and screaming all the way through, and we don't want to use too much of clean vocals as a lead thing where we are right now, then it's cool to have some clean underneath the lead vocals to bring some dynamics into the picture, so it doesn't get the same all the way. So if some with lower clean vocals in behind gives a little bit, opens up the soundscape a little bit, and that could be a cool thing to experiment with a little bit if we don't want to go full out clean vocal choruses, where we're not there yet anyways. So
that was a really nice contrast, at least for me, when I heard the songs in the final mix. I was surprised. I was blown away, to be honest.
Yeah, you didn't know that from the beginning. That was a surprise for you when we did that in the studio. Yeah,
and I can see that a lot of people like that. A lot of I see a lot of reviews. A lot of people tell me about, what are you doing there in the chorus? Sounds really powerful, because it adds a lot of intensity and a lot of melody. Also, this it's like a third guitar. Sounds like that.
Speaking about the reviews, guys, how do you react to the reviews? How do you react to the comments made on social media about Nightrage? Do you pay any attention to them? Because I think that most of the times people want to write something bad, something toxic about the bands. Do you really pay any attention to the social media comments and then to the reviews?
Of course, we read everything and we listen to everything and we take in everything that people say to us and all the reviews and everything. But then, of course, if we end up coming across something that's negative, then then we have to let it pass, because like negative energy is nothing you can bring into the mix when you're doing something creative. Of course, people will always have there's people for everything. Now we're lucky for this album, we have mostly very, very positive reviews and comments so far. But of course, especially for me, like coming in and, like we said before, filling up Thomas Lindberg's shoes, I always, every time we release a new album, like, oh, but Thomas was better, and like this new guy sucks, and that stuff is always going to be there.
That's not true.
Yeah, but there's always someone who's going to say that, and of course that's up to these people. And if I would like take that to me too much, then it wouldn't be fun. So you have to just shake it off and go on. And we're lucky to have mostly good reviews, especially now for the latest release. So it's really happy to see that. But people will always have, of course, there's always someone that will have something to say, especially behind the keyboard when they're safe in their homes. People will always be assholes on the internet, but you can't take that to yourself. If like we're doing this because we love doing it, we don't do it to please every motherfucker out there. We do it to please ourselves, and we're really happy that people like it. But in the end of the day, we know that we're doing our best, and that's us be what we bring with us. And of course, we read every review and all this, as many comments we can find and have the time to take a look at. But yeah, you can't bring everything with you in the end. Only the positives. That's what you bring with you in the future.
Yeah, that's what our friend over here says. I don't think any musician should change their vision because some smartass wants to leave a negative impact.
No.
You know, you need to have a balance. I think you need the good ones and you need the bad ones, and you need to live with that. You know, I remember myself back in the day. I was very emotional about the bad reviews, but I learned to live with them eventually. I understand that you can't please everybody, so you let people talk. As long as they talk about the album, I found it positive. Even the bad reviews, I see it like okay, they're talking about Nightrage, Abyss Rising, and they're writing what they want to say. So for me, that's a positive thing, as long as they are talking about us, you know, and they're not ignoring us, you know.
Mm-hmm. Which is the one thing that you never forget to take with you while on tour, apart from your gear, apart from your instrument? What is the one thing?
I can tell you right away what I never
Teddy
can
bear.
forget. What I never can forget on tour to be able to manage is some really solid earbuds, because Mario is snoring like a motherfucker. So if I should get any sleep during tour, I need the most hardcore motherfucking earbuds to close him out, because otherwise I'm done. So that and my own pillow. When I can, I bring my own pillow. So I can sleep on my own pillow, sleep in the bus on my own pillow, or whatever. That's the two most important things.
And Dino says gaffer tape.
Yeah, of course, you can go anywhere, but that's part of the main.
Hello, Dino.
I have to say that this guy, Dino, is a beast behind the drum kit. He's one of the best drummers in Greece.
Yeah, man,
he's amazing.
And you know what actually Fredman said when we were recording the drums in the studio. He said, "You are one of the 10 best drummers that ever recorded in the studio." He said that by himself, and Dino was blown away. And I agree on that, because he's a kid, but he's very talented, and he gave us he's a very good addition in the band. You know, because we used to have very good drummers in the band, that's for sure. But I think Dino, he's stepping up, and he's doing a great work, amazing work. So.
Yeah.
And he nails it up live. He's amazing.
Yes,
live.
never misses a beat. We're lucky to have him.
Yeah, he's a beast. Would you change anything from your previous albums, from the photo sessions, from the production, from the recordings, from anything? Previous members, don't know.
Well, there's a billion things that I can think now that we could change, but I don't think you should think like that, because when an album is finalized and is ready, You have to leave it where it is, and you know, you don't have to think like that. But yeah, exactly. I mean, but if you ask me, I can tell you 1,000 things that I could change, but I don't think it's anybody is interested to hear that anyways.
Yeah. Would you guys play in an entirely different project? And if yes, what style would it be?
Well, I already do.
If I can,
both of you, both of you,
exactly.
Not create a new project.
For me, Nightrage is enough. I'm not into projects at all. I think Nightrage for me is fulfilling everything I want to do in music, and that for me is enough. But of course, if a band's asking me to play guitar solo or helping them with anything, I'm always willing to help and do that, you know, without any hesitations. But Nightrage for me is everything. So, but for Ronnie, it's a different story, of course.
Yeah, I do other stuff all the time. So I have other projects and bands, and I have like Offer Blood. It's a band, more old school death metal, where I'm singing in Swedish with Swedish lyrics. That's totally different thing, and kind of new thing for me to do, because it's actually more different than than singing on English than I would think. But also I play guitar in a like Swedish rock band with Swedish lyrics when I only play guitar. So that's a totally different sound. It's more like pop rock stuff, almost hard rock, something like that, where I play guitars. That's a totally different stuff. So I do different shit to keep myself like keep myself interested in
Inspired.
Yeah, inspired. Keep myself inspired with the doing, because it's easy to get stuck in the same loop when you do stuff. So I want to like to keep but my heart into the music. I have to do something totally different sometimes just to keep feeding my love for the music with other kind of angles.
Mm-hmm. I'm very glad that someone has pronounced you sexy beasts over here from Val Extortion. Congratulations on the album, and hello, you sexy beasts. That's what you both expected, I think.
Yes.
Which is the one Nightrage song that you will never get tired of playing live?
The Tremor, I think, for me.
Yeah, I would say the Tremor. I love that. it always has to be in the set list. I feel like I love that song because it's so primal and just a really good kicker to end the set with. So I love that one. I would say.
Which song is your guilty pleasure?
From Nightrage?
No.
Or from any
From Britney Spears. If you have a Britney Spears one, that would be a guilty pleasure. Or let me change the question: the one that you sing while you take a bath.
I would say it's an old song. I don't know if it's like a guilty or not, but I like one of my first loves that brought me into music at all, or rock music, was Razzamanas with Nazareth. That's one of my like oldest loves, and I still love that song. So, and I play it for like younger people today. What kind of fucking old fart rock and roll shit is this? But like I love that song because it gives me a really good energy. So that's my, maybe if you would say that, guilty pleasure song. So I don't know.
For me, maybe it's Flash Gordon from Queen. It's my favorite movie of all time and soundtrack at the same time. Maybe
that's a good song.
Amazing. And the first album that you ever bought, do you remember how did you get hold of an album? Of your first album, Ronnie?
My first album I bought for my own money was Crazy Nights with Tigers of Pan Tang. I was there with my aunt downtown to buy my first album. I had my first money for that. I actually wanted to buy Don't Break the Oath with Merciful Fate, but she was thinking it was too, she didn't like the cover of that. And so I bought Crazy Nights with Tigers of Pan Tang instead, with this tiger climbing the, I don't know what's like Empire State Building or the Big Ben or whatever. So it was not as evil as the Don't Break the Oath album. So I had to go with that one.
If I was your aunt, I would do the same thing back then.
Yeah. So my first album that I bought for my own money was the Crazy Nights.
And you, Marius?
Mine might be the same album, Flash Gordon from Queen, as far as I remember. That was my, or Asia, something from Asia. I'm not sure.
So guys, before the end, because our time is running out and we don't have much more time allowed by the Instagram, we have to say that once again that your new album Abyss Rising is already out by Despot Records. You can stream it, and of course you can buy it anywhere. We prefer the physical product. We are old school guys, but you can stream it. You can stream it anyway. and an interview on rockhard.gr will follow with Nightrage. So there's another question, but let us do this question before we end. We wrap it up. The aforementioned trilogy has epic album cover, and your trilogy, from Nightrage, I mean. They also took, the artist was the same for all three. What made you shift into the more old school album art? I think you chose the same artist to make the three covers of the album. Is that so?
I think it's Petikas Vagelis on the first two, Venomous and Wolf to Man, and John Tusas is on the Abyss Rising. He did and it was, you know, Ronnie's ideas. Ronnie gave him some ideas about the concept. We didn't say too much, to be honest, to John. We trusted him, and he gave us this amazing cover. And
both
not only that,
both guys had pretty free hands, but I wanted to go to the more, because of the concept of everything. I wanted to go towards more classical, like also like more classical Greek and Roman style of the old poets, and I think that was an important part of it. Like the Venomous album, I wrote it, all the lyrics. I wrote sitting in the Acropolis Mountains in Athens, writing all the lyrics there, getting really inspired by about the environment there, and I wanted the covers to depict the same feeling I got, and then keep that thing through all the three albums. So that was the idea.
So guys, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for taking time to speak with me and all the other guys that watch this Instagram live chat. Wish you the best with your new album, and we'll speak really soon. Thank everybody. Thanks to everybody who watched this Instagram live chat. It will be uploaded on YouTube in a few hours. So there have been a few questions that had already been answered. So if someone watches the YouTube link, then he will have his answers for sure. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sakis. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sakis.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thanks to
everybody.
everybody.
Take care.
Have a great weekend, all of you
Bye,
guys.
man.
Thank you very much for taking time and working.
Bye. Cheers, man.
Bye.